Okay, period 6, possibly we did this already. Period 5, possibly not. Period 4, we are not even there. But it's good. I realized there's something missing for this chapter. You guys are missing a very, very important skill. So you may be able to set up the proportion for this. However, we are missing a very crucial skill in the Algebra 1 curriculum. So I'll see what I can do about it. But that is a very, very useful skill. But all in all, somebody sent me a message, or period 6 actually asked about this question a lot. Like, we just couldn't do it. So at least let's focus on setting up the proportion right. So we know that it's always about scale factor. We know that we have 3 different triangles. One is over here, the other one is over there, and then the big one. So we have 3 triangles. They are all similar, and it makes it very confusing. Okay, so what I will want to do is, if you are given a question like this, my suggestion will be, if they don't have any label, just give it some label. So A, B, C, let's just call it D. So if we have the A, B, C, D, at least we can refer those triangles, okay, on its own. So let's see what we can do. Obviously, AB, this whole line, this AB whole line over here, is going to be a hypotenuse of some sort. Okay, it's going to be a hypotenuse of some sort. So I'm just seeking out what information I can have, and we are trying to figure out which pair of triangles I can use. So I'm looking for a number that's attached to a hypotenuse, obviously for another triangle. So I possibly can see this. In period 6, I actually talk about that. So this green triangle possibly is going to match up with my yellow one. So there could be other scenario, but I think the hypotenuse is the easiest way to go about. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to use this triangle, and I'm going to use the yellow triangle as well. The yellow triangle is the one that is outside. So that could be like overlapping over here, but hopefully you can see that. I'm using the yellow triangle and the green triangle. I know that after a couple rotation, reflection, or translation, I should be able to get them into the same kind of shape. So let's just do that. I'm not going to be lazy. I'm just going to draw it out properly this time. So I'm going to do this. That is my big triangle. Okay, that's going to be my big triangle. That's the one with the ABC. I'm going to draw the smaller one right over here. That's going to be my green triangle. Okay, we should be able to put them into the same orientation. They're both pointing left. And after that, we're just going to put back those ABC over here. So for the bigger triangle, ABC, so the vertex is going to be A, B, and C. While this little triangle, you have to be a little bit careful about that. Make sure you find out where's the 90 degrees. This is where D is. And D going up this way is B. And then D going down this way is going to be C. So those letters, they may overlap. Don't get confused about them. Just, stay put when you have something like this. And after this step, we are just going to put in the numbers. So for the bigger triangle, I know that BC is going to be 15. The hypotenuse itself is going to be 16 plus x, right? You add these 2 segments together, you get 16 plus x. For the green triangle, the orientation is a little bit different. So the hypotenuse is going to be 15, while the height of the triangle is going to be x. So at least we'll have this setting, and you should be able to see that by now. This is corresponding to that, and this is corresponding to that. So I can set up our I can set up our scale factor that way. So I'm going to have 16 plus x divided by 15 should be equal to 15 always going to from this direction to that. So 15 over x. So this question actually asks us to find x. And if you set up this correctly, I'm very pleased. However, I noticed that you guys actually don't have this skill. So how can we solve this? Is the problem. So the cross multiply is still going to apply. So hopefully you try to, move one more step and you say, I'm going to do a cross multiply over here. I'm going to do x times 16 plus x. 15 times 15 is going to be 225. Right, it's going to be 225. So how about the rest of this? So I can distribute, because I'm not going to give up. I'm going to distribute. I'm going to use every one of my algebra 1 skill. I'm distributing this. 16x plus x squared is equal to 225. Now if you get to this step, I think most of you would not know what's after this. The reason for that is because quadratic equation was not there. You guys do not know this is actually a quadratic equation. The reason why is because of this x squared. If you see the x squared, it's not your linear equation anymore. You guys possibly cover up to linear equation, solving system of linear equation, but you never really cross that quadratic equation. So we have to deal with this. We have to somehow learn how to do it, because obviously the geometry curriculum actually, especially this year, it doesn't care if you didn't do quadratic equation or not. It's an assumption that you can do it. So let's rearrange this a little bit so I can talk about this. So I always want x squared to go first, and then 16x, I'm going to subtract 225. What am I doing? Why am I doing that? It's equal to 0, I'm sorry. Alright, let's type this out. This is what we call a quadratic equation. So now, if we can solve quadratic equation, then we can solve x. We can solve x. I don't want to do it in this video. The reason for that is I believe all of you in my geometry, actually even in my algebra 1, we really need to talk about that, because quadratic equation is something that is very, very useful. If you bother enough to look into it, if you go into my algebra 2 playlist, you should be able to find a video to do this. And I don't know how to link a video. I'm so dumb. I have to look it up. But if you're looking for a video for this, what you can do is look for the quadratic formula video. Alright. So I will definitely do something about it either possibly next week, because we are running into the scenario where quadratic equation will come up in a regular calculation, because we are dealing with the scale factor a lot, and I don't want you guys not knowing how to do it. I know that feeling, like you get to this, you use all of your might, you get to here, and then you just don't know what to do. And I understand that. So for students who are curious enough to watch this video because you asked how to do it, I would suggest watch this quadratic formula video. There are a couple of them talking about quadratic equation, but the one that I think is most useful as of now, which is easiest to learn, is called the quadratic formula. And of course, for those who don't watch this video, I'll have a lesson about quadratic formula possibly next week. And as I said in class today, if you set a summative, people will learn it. So possibly I'll do it that way. We'll have a very short lesson, maybe one day, to just get over this skill. It's not a difficult skill to learn, and I think everyone can do it. We're not talking about, completing the square or factoring, which is, very foreign as a concept go. Quadratic formula is the go-to. So for the students who asked me to do this video for you, this is the problem that you'll run into, because if we expand this scale factor, and we'll run into something called quadratic equation, which I totally understand. You guys didn't cover it last year. So we are going to spend one day next week to cover this, and so everyone will be able to do it, hopefully. And so for the student who asked me, hopefully you're going to watch that video and you should be able to sort this out without any problem. This is a very simple quadratic equation. And I'm not going to do anything more because I'm planning a lesson on this. So bye for now.